Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
Man. Another win, Jayhay. Another win. It's getting boring, dude. Like, how do I like spice it up? Like, I feel like the audience is too rich now. They have too much money. Like who is it? D-Row. D-Row was talking about how the Atlanta Braves, and he's like, they made too many guys rich. I feel like that's what I'm doing to the Baseball is Dead audience with my underdog picks. We're making too many of them rich. What, Dallas? I mean, you're not fucking helping, dude. You're not helping.
They win 10 cents? Is that how much would you?
This is why you lose. This is why you lose all the time.
They get a whole quarter this time?
This is why you lose all the time. You're trying to rob Fenway Park. So like you're trying to do like you're trying to right, exactly, and that's why you're broke. Yep. That's why you're broken in prison. That's why you're broken in prison. Is because you try to do the big dirty. You try to do the one big dirty. You get caught. You get thrown in jail. You have no money. You're in prison for 35 years.
Back out. The system is clogged, Jared.
Instead, I'm over here. I'm robbing this little bank, 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 this little bank.
You're knocking off fucking popsicle vendors in the park is what you're doing.
At the end of the year, we're up big time over the course of the season. We're up big time. You know what people that follow Dallas have? No money. People that follow Dallas have no money. Didn't you rob us
last week? Weren't you just in here last week? Like what? We don't even have. We haven't even had to fucking fill the gas pumps up again in your back.
What I see my record was this year, it was fucking crazy. I will say, someone went back and looked at the record. Did you see this tweet, Jayhay?
No, I missed it. What did they do that?
Oh yeah. Let's see.
Jared's burner.
28 wins, 14 losses. A 67% hit rate. 67%. No one's doing that in the country of the United States of America.
We should send that to the bosses.
Yeah, send it up the ladder. They'll probably let me go. They'll be like, that's too much winning. This guy wins too much. Maybe don't tell them that.
Yeah, I'll keep it. I'll keep it between the listeners here. It is funny though, pod and Pick'em synergy. That I tried to gently warn some folks on this podcast about Jesus Luzardo and his penchant for breaking hearts in big spots or melting down. And lo and behold, Dallas, do you want to share what separated you from sharing a moment of glory today with Jared?
What the Juan Soto timeout? That's what fucking did it. That's what did it. That's what did it, Jayhay. The Juan Soto timeout. You're fucking my guy early.
It's the sort of stuff you're going to see in the
Luzardo was in the middle of his leg lift. Luzardo was in the middle of his leg lift. The ball even might have been on the way home. And Soto was like, you know what? Not feeling it. Timeout. And they're like, oh, fuck, timeout.
Yeah. And the classic ejection after you're already coming out of the game. That's my favorite.
Well, I mean, I personally believe that is strictly because the umpire knows that there's a fucking check somebody's got to be writing at the end of that, and they're like, you know what, fuck you, here you go.
That's that's all it is.
I mean, it was a rough night. It was a rough
night for the Luzardo defenders out there like me, because it was a 2-1 ball game, right?
Mm-hmm.
2-1 ball game. Jesus Luzardo hits the showers. By the way, there's a bunch of different directions we could go here at the start of the show because there's a lot happening throughout the league. I will pick one because I you know what, Dallas? Because I have been picking them right, haven't I? Yeah, it's been hard to miss.
I'm betting that Nick Kurtz is going to swing the bat tonight. I'd also like to bet that Aaron Judge is going to see a pitch.
No.
Third leg. For a third leg, I'd like to throw. Juan Soto will put his uniform on tonight.
Someone had a very funny. Someone had a very funny meme, and it was like when Jared picks Nick Kurtz for his pick'em, he's just like a dude that was just exhausted. It's like, but here's the thing. Every time that I call upon Nick Kurtz for my pick'ems, he's like, How many total bases you want, Skip, tonight? 2? How about 19? You want 19? Boom, I did it for you.
Hey,
do those carry over the next day? No problem. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll get you 10 more.
Were you writing him the other day when he when he fucking stepped up and delivered a pinch hit homer?
No, 2 nights ago? In the 8th inning. Oppo 8th inning.
I mean, he's got, I believe he's got, is he have the most of the second most Oppo homers in baseball?
How about the fucking research that I did on Nick Kurtz yesterday? Sent it to Dallas, and he did nothing. Not a fucking, not even like an emoji response or like a like to the goddamn tweet. Nothing.
Well, you didn't send me anything.
Yes, I fucking did.
Where?
I texted this to you yesterday. Nick Kurtz, MLB ranks since June 15th. 59 games, 255 plate appearances. His 350 batting average, first. 453 OBP, first. 762 slug, first. Obviously, that means 1214 OPS, first. 43 extra base hits, first. 163 total bases, first. 55 runs scored, first. RBI, 54, tied for second. And his WOBA, weighted on base average, 502, that is first.
Yeah, well, maybe it's because I've been telling anybody who'll listen since the fucking guy showed up that he's the best first baseman in baseball.
He's the best hitter in baseball.
I've already known this.
He's the best hitter in baseball the last 2 months. Two and a half months.
We have known this. I told all it took was to have, I mean, just to get serious for a minute. Anytime you're having a conversation with somebody who's got a fucking jacket, meaning they are a baseball god, I anyway tend to shut up and listen to everything they're saying. And when Jim Thome just, I basically had to walk away because Jim Thome wouldn't stop talking about how great Nick Kurtz already is and was going to be. And Nick Kurtz has only gotten better since then. He's only continued to do what he's done on a higher scale, on a better clip. So everything that you're talking about, everything that you're seeing, that you're being made aware of is shit that I've been watching unfold each and every single day. I go back to I was telling you, we were watching batting practice the other day, talking about the opposite field homer, and he hit a ball to left field. He hit 3 balls out to left field. Boom, boom, boom. And he walked out. I think I told you guys this story. He walked out of the cage and he hit one into the second fucking deck in left field and looked at me and just goes, just flick it over there, DB. just flick it over there. And he said that, and fucking Soderstrom and Law are standing behind me, and I watch Kurtzy just walk, like he says that, he just says it in passing, right? And he's fucking with me. And Sody and Law like look at each other and then look at me, and we all three just start fucking dying laughing because we're like, buddy, you're the only one who can do that. Like, that's not a just flick it over there. Like, that's off the fucking facade in the second deck. So I appreciate your interest in what Nick Kurtz has been doing. I really do. But it is something that we have had a front row seat for, and I'm just glad that it is garnering the national acclaim that it is. Oddly enough, I do believe that the return of Jacob Wilson, who has continued to swing, continue to swing the bat the way he did. I don't want to say the way he was right before he left because there was a little bit of a downturn. But has picked up where he seemingly left off at the beginning of his season. And I think that Jacob Wilson, continuing to do what he's doing, could very well put him in position to win the batting title. And I think with Nick Kurtz well on his way to winning the Rookie of the Year, that is going, Jacob Wilson missing out on winning the Rookie of the Year, but potentially vying for the batting title, I think only strengthens the case for, or I don't know if it's even a case, but I think just strengthens the stance on how good each one of these dudes is. Because you had a guy who was showing up late to the party in Nick Kurtz, who has, by all accounts, just taken the aux cord. He is the fucking DJ for the remainder of this fiesta. And what Jacob Wilson has been doing has been nothing short of incredible, just because of the lack of experience at this level and what he has been able to do at the rate he's been able to do it. And that is no longer going to get him the Rookie of the Year. But what his fucking teammate is doing now has you drawn, to your point, Jared, all of the numbers and the performance that he has put forth. And at the end of this, for the Athletics to finish a season where if you were to remove a 20-game chunk, not remove, but if you were to just cut it in half, their season looks completely different. And it's not something that the players want to hear anymore because they know it. They understand it. Fans are familiar with it. But I think at the end of this season for the A's to have Jacob Wilson having completed the season he will, and Nick Kurtz finishing the way that we think he will, I don't want to call it a lost season, but it's a season where the anticipation at the beginning, while it may not line up at the end, you have a lot of things to be excited about.
I love how a segment that was supposed to be blowing me for winning all my pick'ems turned into Dallas talking about the A's for 25 minutes nonstop without taking a breath.
That's great.
That's just the kind of guy that he is, though. You know, like he's the kind of guy that will just be like, oh yeah, the fucking Titanic sank. By the way, the A's though, you hear about the swinging A's?
No. What it sounds like is I'm the kind of guy to walk by and help you pull your own dick out of your mouth. We keep talking about baseball. Yeah.
No, because you mentioned Aaron Judge, right? Every time he could be in the middle of a fucking.
Is he in your next pick'em? Aaron Judge to put on
1.5 cleats
run. Over Judge on 1.5 cleats.
Anytime that I tap Aaron Judge to come in and do something for me, he doesn't do it. And this is coming from his biggest fan. But I tap Nick Kurtz. He comes up big every single time. Every single time. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but I dialed up a Bryce Terang last night. Like, how many people had fucking Bryce Terang in their pick'ems? Me, I did, and he homered. That's right. Shut the fuck up, you bald fucking idiot.
Did you pick him to homer or just get a hit?
I don't pick the total base numbers. I pick the names, and you tell me. You tell me what you want.
Because you could pick him to homer too, but you didn't do that.
Well, yeah, because that would be ill-advised and stupid. This is why you don't win. This is why you don't win.
Making money.
Yeah, like an actual fucking adrenaline junkie. I'm gonna listen to your advice. Did you pick him to hit 3 home runs? Why not? You don't have the balls? You don't have the balls to pick him to hit 3 in a game? No? Go higher on 12.5 total bases? Kurtz did it. Nick Kurtz did it. Why can't Bryce Terang do it?
Well, you're fucking leaning on Kurtzy.
You have a problem. You have a problem. And I have a problem. It's that I can't stop winning on the Underdog Fantasy app, which is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as just not going with what Dallas says and doing what I say. It's true. It's very true. Make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's Jared to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. I think where it's going to get interesting, Jayhay, is during the postseason when the field of players and teams is limited and the pitching is much better. You know, like the formula that I'm over here being like, oh yeah, use the best hitters against the shittiest pitchers and then sit back and success. I don't think that works in October. So we'll see just how good I can be in October, because we will be doing pick'ems during our live streams for the postseason.
So that's actually a good question. To continue on, what may get us to a 30-minute segment on your pick'em before we wrap it up. I think there's like a Judge Jared parallel here, because you're talking 28-14. You're talking big time stats here, big time money, big time returns for the people.
67%.
All in the regular season, though, right? Like that you just alluded to, and you're saying the game.
Meaningless homers. Meaningless homers.
You're saying I can't do it in October.
No.
You're saying I can't do it in October? Is that what you're going to say?
That's what he's saying.
You said
that's what you're saying
the
to me?
Game changes in October.
It does. Yeah, it's
well,
way harder.
There you go. And I can hear it in your voice. You just said, can we continue to do it?
No. I'm excited for the opportunity.
Okay.
I'm excited for the opportunity.
Well, I'm also excited. There's no fear on my end. I just kind of sit back and, I root for the wins, but the losses.
Yeah, I can't wait to rise to the occasion. What the fuck? I'm excited for it. I'm not dreading it.
No, I don't hear dread.
Yeah.
Just a question. You brought up Judge, you brought up the postseason, you brought up how it's different. You brought up a lot of regular season winning, and that led me, that painted a picture that prompted me to ask that question. Yeah,
it's gonna be tense, I'm gonna be sweating like Dallas Braden walking into the MLB team store, but I think it's gonna be a fun ride.
Can't wait to get to the. I'd like to. You got to. What's the over on umpires 4.5 for the World Series? I'm taking the over on that for sure. Book that.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Where to start? The Mets are a game away from sweeping the Philadelphia Phillies. How about that? Woo! Yeah, we had a walk-off last night. We got the call for that? Fuck. See if I can pull that up. Mets have probably one of the best broadcast booths. Where would you rank the broadcast booth? I know Dallas is biased, but where would you rank the Mets broadcast booth, Jayhay?
Oh, top of class.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, you can quibble with who is actually the number one or how you order those, but to me, there's a bucket of broadcasts that are in the conversation, and that one is squarely in there. And given where I'm located and have been located for the last decade, almost 2 decades, I've consumed a lot of theirs, and I like it very much.
And Brandon slashes it, base hit, and the Mets win the ball game. 4 straight hits against the run in the bottom of the ninth. The Mets have beaten the Phillies 9 straight times at Citi Field. They've taken the first 2 games of this series as they win it.
That's pretty sick. Wow, 9 straight wins against the Fightins at Citi. Whew. How does that line up in the playoff structure? Is there a chance that they could line up in the division series? Like they would is there's still a possibility that the Mets can get a playoff home game against the Phils? Or would they be no, they wouldn't be the wild card matchup.
Who the
Phillies would get the Padres right now? Let me see. Let's take a look at this before we start spouting off playoff matchups that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. You would have the Brewers and Phillies would have a bye, and then the Cubs would play the 6th wild card.
Yeah, where are the Cubs at? 76.
Did I get that right? The
Well,
Phillies and Brewers.
As of right now, it's the Brewers who are going to be playing that 13. Like after their bye.
Yeah. I mean, the Phillies and Dodgers are neck and neck in winning percentage. They're tied in the win column.
Yeah. So, I mean, because whoever's going to win that division, I mean, which is obviously going to be the Phillies or the Mets, they will then take on the winner of that West.
Well, the Mets are the 6th seed. So they would get the Dodgers.
I'm just looking at are you looking at projected
No, I'm looking at the standings. The Mets have the 3rd wild card, so they would play the division winner with the worst record. Yeah. So Brewers, Phils would get the bye. The Cubs and Padres would play each other, and the Mets would play the Dodgers. Is that right, Jayhay? Okay.
Yes.
So then the possibility, if the Mets can beat the Dodgers, and this is if the playoffs start today, if the Mets can beat the Dodgers in that wild card round, then yeah, they would have the opportunity to play the Phillies.
And with that kind of record at home against them, I mean that's not negligible. 9 L's in a row at Citi Field. That's a house of horrors you're walking into.
Yeah. So they would only really have the chance to play the Phillies at home in the playoffs if they made it to the NLCS.
But I mean, how important? How if they played what?
If they made it to the NLCS.
So that's what was going to be my next point is how important are those 2 games though? Because you're going to play those first 2 in Milwaukee. Or excuse me, in
LA.
No, I thought we were still talking about the Phillies and the
we're
Mets.
Confusing everyone right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the Phillies and the Mets still.
I am, but they wouldn't be able to play each other until the NLCS.
Right. And so what I was saying is in a shortened series, you'd be playing those first 2 games at Citi Field, right? Because home field advantage would be going to the Phillies.
Yeah, so then home field
So
advantage,
then you would
first 2
only
games
really
would
be
in
playing.
Philly.
So like if, and so only having those first 2 games would be, I mean, it's not one more game in a place where you haven't been able to win a ball game. You just need to take one of these 2 here. And if we can do that, then we're okay. But now we're talking 7-game series. That matters a little more.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, the Mets are kind of just they're still in a playoff spot. I don't know so much about their division hopes being 5 games back. This is more just to send a message, I guess, to the Phillies. Like, you know, where I understand we're the 6th seed, we're the 3rd wild card, but if we catch you in the NLCS, just know this is what it feels like. This is a warning shot series if they end up pulling off the sweep. I don't think does anyone here think that the Phillies are in jeopardy? I mean, well, the loss of Zach Wheeler, we discussed this on Monday's episode. That's big. That's big.
That's huge.
What do you got,
huge.
Jayhay? What do you got?
No, I think there's more potential. Like, I think the psychological damage in terms of what can happen in a 2-game series. I'm not trying to overstate that these aren't professionals who can move on, but like, I think the way that New York has won these games, coming off of the Zach Wheeler news in particular, is a little devastating mentally and probably just objectively troubling for the Phillies moving forward. Like, they had Christopher Sanchez in the first game. That obviously ended in a complete laugher for the Mets. We know how last night went with the dramatics, essentially Yohan Duran not being able to close the door, right? So you have arguably 2 of the most important pieces for how this Phillies pitching staff is going to operate moving forward, not being able to get the job done. And we spent a lot of time, or a decent amount of time, talking about Luzardo yesterday. And boy, it would have made me look like a real asshole if he had come out and, shoved it on the Mets yesterday and pitched, delivered in a relatively big spot against your divisional opponent. He did the opposite. I mean, he fell apart and in some ways kind of lost control of that game for them. And, if the Phillies can win the Walker McLean matchup, then maybe it's not all that dramatic or all that important. But if it does end in a sweep, I think the division is there potentially, because I think the Phillies situation moving forward, as I alluded to yesterday, is a little bit more fragile than the loss of one player might initially lead you to believe. And I think there's not much separating. Probably the most important point is I don't think there's a lot separating the Mets and the Phillies. And I think we've been pretty consistent on that from the start of the season, that these were similarly talented teams. It just so happens that the Phillies have spent most of the season as the first place team. But I don't think that the Mets taking a series from the Phillies, or even coming back to win this division, or making it further than them in the postseason, would be considered very surprising to me, or even really surprising at all. I don't think.
Well, at this point, if you're the Mets, understanding what the Phillies have just lost and what they're not going to have for the remainder, doesn't that give you some sort of confidence? Doesn't that tell you look, they're probably looking at every 5th day as a really solid chance to take a W, and now that's gone. And if you continue to just kind of plug along and play the kind of baseball that you've been playing here recently, especially against Phil, then you like your chances. You like your chances to close the gap and potentially surpass where they're at. The one thing that you think about in the National League, though, is, are the Cincinnati Reds done? Are they done? Because they're just a series or so away from making this very interesting. So if we're talking about the New York Mets closing the gap on the Phillies, and that's not a terribly sizable gap in and of itself, then what is stopping us from having the conversation about the Cincinnati Reds closing that same size gap or a similar gap on the Mets in a wild card standings? Because what the Mets are out 3.5 or up 3.5 or whatever.
Yes, 3.5.
And so the Reds are, what are they back? 5 in the wild card?
No, they're back 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah, they're the first team out.
Yeah,
So I think that's
I think you're right to call them as still in the race. I think from an optics standpoint, what makes it maybe a little bit difficult, like subjectively, is that the Reds have never really had a part of a playoff spot. You'd feel better if they'd had it for a month and a half earlier in this season,
out of it,
fell back, and here they come again. And that ultimately doesn't make any bit of difference at all. But if you're thinking why have maybe people had trouble latching on to them in the conversation above and beyond the fact that maybe they play in Cincinnati, I think that's probably the driving reason. And I also think what exactly is Hunter Green for the remainder of this season? I know we all know that he's an amazing pitcher, and we spent, there was a quick bit this season where I believe we had is this guy fully ascended to a Cy Young candidate conversation through the X number of starts this season. And, it's not been, I'm not trying to make a big deal about his 3 starts, but he's only made 3 starts since returning. And I'm just kind of interested to see whether he can propel them down the stretch, because I do think that's the kind of thing that they're going to need. But yeah, you're right. They're in it. They're definitely not out of it.
I think Hunter Green being able, much for the same reason that we now start to speculate about what the Phillies could be doing because of the lack of Wheeler. I think a presence of Hunter Green and a strong finish can do as much for the Reds and their confidence as losing a guy like Zach Wheeler can take a hit on the confidence for the Phillies. So I think the Reds have an opportunity to make a little noise here down the stretch while the Phillies and the Mets are sort of preoccupied with each other.
By the way, since we're on the subject of the Reds, I know Dallas, you have to call a big league ball game, but Jayhay, did you see the 2026 schedule release?
I did. I saw that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce tried to draft off the momentum of that schedule release by timing their. That's so pathetic. Honestly,
it is. They knew that the MLB schedule was dropping, and then they were like, let's get engaged and then announce it right when they announce the schedule.
People are going to be online looking at the schedule, and they'll see that we're engaged.
Perfect timing. Yeah, everyone's going to be celebrating the schedule release, and then they're going to see that we got engaged. Yeah, it was very annoying.
I did see it.
But for many years, all I've heard about Cincinnati in opening day is that it's a national holiday there. It's celebrated in Cincinnati, unlike any other big league city in the country, in the world. Let's include Toronto in the discussion as well. But it's been a huge bucket list of mine to go to Cincinnati on opening day. But normally it's I got it. Red Sox opening day is what we have to be focused on, unless you're in the St. Louis, Missouri. But I will say this: what a perfect opportunity to go to Cincinnati on opening day in 2026, because they will be opening their season against the Boston Red Sox, Justin Havens. And I would love if we all were able to go to Cincinnati for opening day and do a little documentary on the history of opening day in Cincinnati. They hosted the first opening day ever? Is that why it's it's such a big deal there?
Credited as the yep.
Okay. So yeah, for years, Reds fans have been like, you guys got to come here. You guys got to experience it. You guys got to check it out. So I'm all in. I'm very excited. I might even if we don't go out on company dime, I might just fucking go. I might what better opportunity? When's the, if not next year, then when? I would say Justin Havens.
Yeah, if you've been looking to go to Cincinnati for opening day, and your team's playing in Cincinnati on opening day, I feel like that would be a good day to go.
Yeah, I would agree.
As I start to work through the schedule, and likelihood of that happening again, I'd be all over that.
Yeah, it's what else do you have to do that day that could be above that or prioritized higher than that? I don't know that there is one. Yeah.
Nope, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to spend the Athletics, I found out, we'll be spending a week in 3 different destinations next year. We will be spending a week in Toronto because that's where we open up. And something that I just has always been fucking head scratching to me is we're opening up in Toronto. And as you guys well know, there is a day at the beginning of the season built in for inclement weather. Should there need to be a shifting, right? We have a day. Toronto's got a roof, you know? And I don't know that you need that day off. And I feel like we could be so much better served as a sport if we were to just do ourselves that favor early on. And if you don't have a dome, if you don't have a roof, can we just put you in a place that maybe has one if we're going to be playing baseball in inclement weather there? Like, can we just do that maybe? And I think we would be able to solve a lot of issues early on. I mean, am I complaining about spending a week in Toronto? No, I'm not. Love Toronto.
That sounds like enjoyed Toronto. Sounds like you said you hated Canadian people earlier.
No, my family, actually, Meg and I, we just talked about last night. Well, got to get the girls' passports because we're going to be spending a week in Toronto. We're going to be spending a week in Las Vegas. We're going to be spending a week in New York.
You do not need passports for the latter two. Just so
I would agree with that. That's a good point, Jayhay. Yep.
Yeah, but if you want to,
I just want to be clear.
If you want to go hang out with our neighbors,
we need passports. We're going to New York. You know,
you're going to need one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, there's parts of this place that are turning third world. Okay, so just
that is true. Yeah, it's it can get ugly there. A lot of violence.
It is funny though about the Cincinnati thing. I endorse your idea about going. I was privileged enough to go for opening day once and got to see the festivities and eat Skyline chili. Probably first and last on that one. But I will enjoy seeing Jared mow down some Skyline chili on what is hopefully a really hot opening day.
I've never had Skyline chili.
Yeah, have you had diarrhea?
You've had Skyline.
You've had Skyline, my friend. But it is funny though how like sometimes inertia and momentum are your best friend because like the origin of Cincinnati like starting at home was that like way back they were the southernmost western located NL team, so that the schedule makers wanted to start them on at home for kind of reasons that Dallas is alluding to just a century and a half earlier, which is that they had a better chance of avoiding inclement weather relative to all of these other places. And then when the league finally started trying to schedule them on the road, the team pointed to, well, no. We've always done it this way. And then we wake up in 2020 and that is literally 100 years ago now. And we wake up in 2025 and it's like, oh yeah, Cincinnati just opens at home. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there's no geographical reason for it anymore. And I'm certainly not. I think it's actually that it still goes on. That quirk, I think, is one of the great, cool little gems
nuggets
of baseball for sure. And that this city turned it into a long time ago, but like a holiday essentially.
It's okay to leave shit. Yeah, it's okay to leave shit like that. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to
be smoothed out. Yep.
No, fuck, man. Like that's what makes stuff like that fun. Because every team. I mean, fuck it. If you really want to get cute with it, why don't we just cycle every team for the next fucking 29 years through Cincinnati for opening days? You know what I mean? Do that. If you want to get everybody involved in some way, why don't we treat every fan base to the opportunity to have opening day in the birthplace of opening day? If you care that much about it, if you love it like you say you do, because I'll tell you right now, if I didn't have obligations on opening day and my team was playing in Cincinnati on opening day and I understood the lore behind it, I would want to be a part of that. I would want to experience it. And I would probably take my family and travel to go do that. That's just another little experience that baseball can offer you.
I'll be honest. I'm going to fucking do it. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I'm going to do it. I'm going to be there. Cincinnati, I'm coming. Cincinnati 2026, I will be there. I'll be inside of you. And it will be the first time that I've been to... Have I been? Yes, I have. I've been to Ohio. Yeah, I've been to Cleveland. Not my first time in Ohio. Not my second time in Ohio. It'll be my third time in Ohio? No. 16.
Yeah, I mean, it matters, right?
Is the
Jeremy.
last time we went to Cleveland? No.
Jeremy,
last
cut
time we
this
went to
for the
Cleveland
social
was the
clip. How many
fucking-
times has Jared been to Ohio?
Yeah,
The last time was not 2019, was it? It wasn't the All-Star game?
probably. For you, probably.
No.
Yeah, what else you go to Ohio for, bud?
Virginia Havens Park. A lot of people have been going there, taking selfies, sending them out.
2019?
Yeah. That's how much you hate Cleveland. That's how much
No,
you
I
hate
love
Ohio.
Cleveland. Every time. No, it's not true. Every time
No,
that Cleveland
you haven't been
comes
there
up
since 2019.
every time that Cleveland comes up in conversation, I'm always quick to defend Cleveland. I love Cleveland.
Right. You don't want to spend any time there. Call
I'm
it a shithole.
going to Cincinnati. Maybe I'll stop in Cleveland. Maybe I'll fly into Cleveland.
You said something about these people. There's more bunting per square foot than there are fucking people here. I
That's
think
not what I
you
said. I've never said it. I love Cleveland. I consider myself a Clevelander.
I don't know if that vibe is what's
Whatever,
really getting
dude.
pushed
You're a
out.
hater today. You really are. You got to stick up your ass is what you have. And,
Since 2019. Yeah, you
yeah.
love it.
Yeah, you need some chubbies. That's what you
I've been
need.
there twice this year. I've already been there twice this year.
Yeah, because you got paid to. You're a fraud.
I just got paid while I was there. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, are you ready for some football? If you're not, Chubbies is ready to help you with their NFL collection, whether you're tailgating, grilling, or riding the highs and lows of the game on your couch. Chubbies has the officially licensed NFL gear to keep you looking like the ultimate fanatic. With bold designs featuring your favorite NFL teams, Chubbies game day gear isn't just comfortable, it's a statement. Rip your team's logos in wildly comfortable polos, wave-making swim trunks, and gym-ready mesh shorts. Yeah, you heard that right. Swim trunks with your favorite NFL team's logo on all of them, all your comfort and swagger you need for every touchdown dance, chest bump, or dramatic fourth quarter meltdown. If you're not a jersey guy, this is an elite alternative. If you are a jersey fanatic, something tells me you'll love their NFL collection, because when you're invested in the game, your outfit should be too. And for a limited time, you can use our exclusive code BID for $10 off on chubbiesshorts.com/BID. Yes, that includes the NFL collection. Let the thighs out and let the good times roll. Chubbies is the ultimate football apparel brand, so much so that they created their own fantasy football league. George Kittle, Ian Rappaport, and others have come together to assemble the Chubbies League on NFL Fantasy. Each week, the top 5 scorers will win a chance at Chubbies Polo short combos with their team's logo. The grand champion gets the chance at the ultimate fan experience, a 5-city, 5-stadium NFL game tour with a +1. While the fantasy flop faces a hilarious and unforgettable punishment only Chubbies could pull off. Head to chubbiesshorts.com/the Chubbies League to learn more and have some fun. Get ready for the most outrageous fantasy football season of your life. And would you look at that, folks? For a limited time, our friends at Chubbies are giving our listeners $10 off with the promo code BID at chubbiesshorts.com/BID. That's $10 off your order with the promo code BID. And that includes the NFL collection. Support BID. Tell them we sent you. Express yourself and level up your game day wardrobe with Chubbies. I could see Dallas wearing some like skimpy little cowboy shorts, right?
Oh, you haven't thought to me again?
I'm just saying. I feel like you're kind of like a mesh shorts cowboy boy, you know?
What?
Yeah.
Mesh cowboy shorts, boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you disagreeing or no? You agree?
I'm disagreeing. I'm
are disagreeing.
I'm disagreeing.
All right. I'll ask Meg what she thinks. Yeah. She'll be like, yeah, he's a little cowboy, a little short boy. He is. Yeah. She would say that. She's actually said that before. I'm just kind of, that's where I got the thought from. I was like, where did I hear this before? Oh, Meg said that. Yeah.
He's a little cowboy short boy.
Yeah.
mesh cowboy short boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I used to rock assless chaps. That was 05-06 though.
Right.
And that was more of an exploratory phase for me.
Yeah. That was more of like a Landon Powell. Was it Landon Powell a teammate?
Landon Powell was a teammate.
Yeah, he probably got you rocking the mesh short cowboy shorts.
Landon Powell was not wearing much mesh, and he was definitely not wearing much mini mesh shorts. Yeah, no,
because you were wearing them.
that is not true. I will rock the fuck out of a pair of cutoff jean shorts, though. You think I won't? Oh, and
really quickly. I want to shout out Clayton Kershaw again. Because he did it again last night. Clayton Kershaw went out there, did the damn thing, and then in his post game, he was just like, "Yeah, I had a good August." No, Clayton, you've had a great season, you humble son of a bitch. He had his first outing of the year. He gave up 5 earned runs in 4 innings to the Angels, and since then, these are his numbers. This is where he ranks in the National League. 16 starts, 84 and a third innings. He's tied for the most wins in Major League Baseball with 9. 2.67 ERA is 4th in the National League. 1.11 WHIP is 10th in the National League. 5.4 walk rate, 8th in the National League. And 0.64 home runs per 9 allowed is 6th in the National League. He's been a top 10 pitcher in the National League this year. Throw out the first one, and he's been a top 10 pitcher in the National League when he's been out there. This is Clayton Kershaw, who, again, folks said, "Oh, nice little retirement tour. That'll be nice. We'll get him a start here and there, maybe." No. Clayton Kershaw has it's not your ace. He's not punching guys out the way that he used to, but this is a man who knows how to pitch. This is not a thrower. This is a pitcher.
What's going to happen is Clayton Kershaw is going to fuck around and find himself in Brent Honeywell territory, right? His teammates are going to start looking at him and going,
"Well, he's going to be good, though." I think that it's a different.
What are you fucking talking about, pal?
Yeah. I think
you heard each and every one of the teammates of Brent Honeywell tell you, "I told you."
Great Spotify list. Yeah, no, we're talking pitching. This is
yeah. That's what we're talking.
We're talking Brent Honeywell brought the mesh cowboy shorts, and he had the great auxiliary cord contributions. But Clayton Kershaw is going to be out on the bump doing his thing with a sub 3 and limiting the traffic, and no balls are going over the fence. And spare me with we'll see what happens in October. We will. I think it's a mixed bag. His postseason career has been a mixed bag. It's not been the atrocious. I guess the reputation that he has is that every time he touched the mound in October, it's been a disaster. That's not true. It's been a mixed bag. It's been a very mixed bag, but I'm curious to see what happens if he gets some postseason innings this year. Yeah, well, he will. He'll have to. Well, who the fuck else is going to get him?
That's the whole point is, so for all the excitement about what Clayton Kershaw is doing right now, that's where the haters are waiting. That is where the haters are waiting is, okay, well, let's see, is he going to be able to do it again? And that's where, look, fairly or unfairly, I think you have to allow the conversation to go there. Because otherwise you're cherry picking and you're saying, nope. I, along with everybody else, was really curious about what sort of season we were going to get. What did Clayton Kershaw's season look like? Was it anywhere from 10 to 15 starts? And if so, what were those starts going to look like? Well, that's where we're at, and he has surpassed that point. And I mean, look, over his last 5 starts, 1.88 ERA, a FIP at a little over 2.5. Like he's been doing it. He has been doing it, and he will be as every much of a part of why the Dodgers get to the postseason, and in the fashion they're going to have to get there, because it's not going to be, with a light years worth of gap between them and the Padres. I mean, that is back and forth, neck and neck, and will seemingly be that way until the end of the season. So every start that Clayton Kershaw has made up until this point has been extremely impactful and very valuable, and it's only going to become more important. The leverage for every outing is only getting higher and higher for Clayton Kershaw. And so as we start to evaluate what the postseason could look like, his postseason and how teams are going to be approaching him in the postseason, we could very well start to see that down the stretch if there's going to be a shot where, hey, these teams and against Kershaw are going to have a good performance to help or bolster their postseason. That's where we start to talk about the quality of the at-bats changing. And if a guy's not up there generating as much swing and miss as you might see a guy generate in May or June, just because the focus and the intent of the at-bat is that much greater because there's so much more on the line, well, that's where we start to get the postseason vibes. That's where the game has started to be played in a little different way. So we might get a look at how that could play out a little earlier before October starts.
Jayhay?
Just can't help but draw the parallel between this conversation with Clayton Kershaw and his dominance during the regular season and what's to come in the postseason with what we were talking about with Pick'ems earlier.
That's true. That's a good point. That is a really good point.
Thank you.
I am excited to see what happens with Clayton Kershaw in the postseason because he's not going to be along for the ride. Last year, when the Dodgers won the World Series title, he was along for the ride, not a contributor. In 2020, it was, well, that's not a full season. So, he's obviously extra fresh when he goes out there. This time, it's like, well, he's going to, I mean, it's not 200 innings, but he's been a key contributor. Anyways, what? You got something else?
Well, no, I was going to say, fuck the 200 innings. This is all part of the Kershaw narrative moving forward, and it has been, where you understand that Kershaw is going to have what we will call an extended spring training or just a late start to the season. And whether that's to monitor innings, monitor health, which has been the case the last few years, so be it. But when he does start to run the race for you, you want to make sure that it's somebody that you can pass the baton to, or somebody that is going to be able to pass the baton to the next guy. And he has done that. And that is why the Dodgers are where they are right now. Because I think it's fair to say if you remove Clayton Kershaw and his outings this season, this looks a whole lot different because it's 17 starts, it's 9 wins, and the body of work has been premium. Without that, right now, what are the Dodgers doing? Who are the Dodgers tabbing for that workload? Where do you go and find, if you are evaluating the Dodgers, where do you go and find almost 100 innings worth of just north of a 3? Where do you get that?
I wanted to hit this topic because it also is something that we talked about on a recent podcast. The Andrew Heaney news. Andrew Heaney getting designated for assignment by the Pirates. So, man, did I not expect the reaction that my tweet got. Like, it was a throwaway tweet for me. I just screenshotted his innings total, which was 120 and a third innings. And then I screenshotted the contract language in his contract, which says performance bonuses, $50K for 120 innings, which he got, $100K for 130, 150 each for 140, 150, 160, 170. And all I said was the Pirates don't do bonuses. And the Stockholm syndrome of the Pirates fan base immediately took over. I was stunned, Dallas, at your fan base taking up for Bob Nutting. It's probably one of those things where Pirates fans are so beaten down that their mentality must be like, we can shit on our owners and our team, but you're not a Pirates fan, so you can't. Like, it was that tweet right now has 368 replies and 2 million impressions, 2 million views, 2 million for Andrew Heaney getting designated for assignment. And all I said was, yeah, the Pirates don't do bonuses. And the reaction was like, well, he just got a fucking bonus. Yes, he got a $50K bonus, and the next bonuses were all in the 6 figures and continue to go up. So there's that part of it. Oh, well, you circled his innings. You should have circled his ERA because he sucks. Fair. Completely fair. He has not been good this year. I even tried to give him an out and look at the FIP to see if he's just gotten unlucky. Like, no, he's every bit of that 5.39 ERA that he's been this year.
Yeah. Well,
he's not striking guys out. He's giving up hits. There's a lot of traffic. He's allowing run. Like, he's not had a good year this year. But to say that he got designated for assignment because he hasn't been good is, you are just completely not acknowledging the fact that if they just signed him for $5 million, they wouldn't designate him for assignment. They designated him for assignment because he has the bonuses coming up, which I'm not even trying to say that that's the wrong move. Like, fine, that's business. That's the business of baseball. But trying to argue that it was completely performance-based and had nothing to do with the bonuses, that's Stockholm Syndrome. Well, like the Pirates fans defending Pirates ownership in that regard, it's Stockholm Syndrome.
But you can say it that way, and I can understand that, but let's just, and this is from a player, okay? From a left-handed pitcher, more specifically, just to, Andrew Heaney was awful down the stretch to a point where any bonuses or anything like that, if that was even part of the conversation, you almost have to look at that and go, okay, that's fine, man, but who with these kind of numbers are you giving any of those opportunities to? Who is going to what? You want me to continue to roll that guy out there? Like, just purely from a performance perspective, that's not what we want to do any longer. We are going in a different direction. Now, because we have these monetary figures in place, you have to understand why we are evaluating this even more closely. It's because he is not performing. Why would we continue to run him out there and cost us wins and cost us money? That's how you have to look at that. And you're saying, well, how valuable are any of those wins that you're going to be accumulating with Andrew Heaney on the mound? Well, that's where you immediately shift right back to what you're going to have to pay him. And that's the idea, is those wins coming from Andrew Heaney aren't going to mean much for you as a club. Probably nothing. But what they are going to do is cost you money, cost you real dollars. And if you are a franchise that is in a position to constantly monitor the dollars to that extent, which it makes sense because you're running a hopefully multi-million-dollar operation, you got to pay attention to these things. So I know it's brutal. I know it's absolutely brutal that it unfolds this way, but the production lines up with the decision-making, and I just don't know that there's much else to say about that.
I think it's a case where every single person is correct. Yep. I think Jared's correct. I think everything you just said is right. I think the fans who push back are in a lot of ways technically correct. I think that I think I said when we talked about this before, I think Andrew Heaney needed to be eyes wide open in the decision to sign here, or why he got the opportunity to be here in the first place. I tend to agree that he got more than an adequate quantity of opportunity to show that he could contribute in a meaningful way, and that if it was going to cost them increasing amounts of money, I think it is fair game for them to have parted. On the same token, I think this administration for the Pirates, ownership, front office, everybody has completely lost any benefit of the doubt as it relates to people accepting those sorts of realities and digging into the level that would be required. That's one thing for Jared to do it. It's another thing for just like the casual fan to be like, oh, well, here were the escalators in the deal, and they paid him the first one, but not the second one. It's like, well, you've actually been operating as a skinflint organization for like as long as most people who are on Twitter commenting have fucking been alive. So that you don't get the benefit of the doubt here, unfortunately, I think that's the foundation that you have laid for yourself in terms of public perception. And I also think it's fair for them to have made this individual transaction in the way that they did. So yes, everybody is correct in their takes.
Jared, just to put a bow on the production, his last 5 starts, 6.86 ERA, 7.31 FIP. It just there was not a lot.
He's been
going
bad.
On there.
He's been bad. If the Rowdy Tellez thing never happens, I don't make a comment about Andrew Heaney. Like, it's more about Rowdy Tellez than it is about Andrew Heaney. It's that you, as an organization, have set the precedent that you do this, sometimes unfairly, like in the case of Rowdy Tellez, and in the case of Andrew Heaney, I think it's like, okay, if I worked for a company and they looked at my performance and I didn't get a Christmas bonus because I was awful, then it's like, okay, then I didn't get a Christmas bonus. I didn't do my job. So like they're within their right to not want to pay 100,000, 150,000, 150,000, just for, it's every 10 innings. So like these bonuses were about to take over in a big way. I think that they were nice enough to let him hit the 50K bonus for 120 innings. It's like, all right, cool. Like you got to 120, we'll kick you the 50K. But after that, no, we're not interested in giving you 100K or 150K. So go kick rocks. And it's brutal. But that's the way that his contract was structured, right? Like I said, if all that money was just guaranteed, if the bonus money was built into the payment of the entire season, just his flat salary, he's not designated for assignment because the Pirates would be like, yeah, like we're just finishing out the strings here. We'd love to have someone that can throw innings for us. So sure, you can stay even though you suck, but the bonus, yeah, we don't want to pay the bonuses. And that's all I said. Like for Pirates fans to get up in arms, like they were angry. Like it wasn't just that they disagreed, like they were coming after me in like a personal way. And I'm like, you act like I'm like a Pirates troll or so. I don't give a fuck. Like I don't think about you. It's not, if anything, we give them good Paul Skeens content and we hype them up whenever something we have Dallas as a Pirates representative on the show. I feel like we've been an ally to that organization, and I make one comment that's justified, and here comes the entire fucking fan base with their stakes and their fucking pitchforks. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, they're a little protective over how they get railroaded. All right.
I guess, but like going down with the ship of defending Bob Nutting is not it. If I were to like, if I were to come after like, oh, like Bubba Chandler, that wasn't, that impressive of a debut, then be like, fuck you, dude. Like we're excited about him. Like you're wrong. Then totally. Like I get it. I would get the anger and you're just trying to be a hot take artist. There's no hot take here. They designated Andrew Heaney for assignment so that they didn't have to pay out his bonuses. That can be correct. It could be the right business decision, but that is why he got designated for assignment.
Yeah, well, that's then what you have is you have fans who have to readily admit and come to terms with things they've already come to terms with, which is this is how we operate.
Yeah.
They don't
but
want
again, I just want to double
you
down
don't
on
want
the
to hear
point.
it from somewhere else. You
I
don't
want
want
to
to hear
double
it
down
from
on the
somewhere
point
else.
that if that does not happen to Rowdy Tellez, I don't even blink seeing Andrew Heaney get designated for assignment. I don't give a fuck. At the time, I was at the Sports Hub and there was a fire alarm going off and we could smell smoke. And I was just like, oh, Andrew Heaney. All right. Yeah. Let me do this. Like,
yeah.
It was such
I brought it up last week.
Yeah. But such an afterthought throwaway tweet for that to be 2 million fucking impressions of worth of reaction.
Isn't that a great example, though, of how something that maybe a cold and calculated person in the front office would say, this is going to save the Tellez thing. This is going to save us, I forget what it was, $1 million or whatever, and we should move on. And this is the correct business decision. And now think all this time later,
$200K,
$200,000, $200,000. Okay,
he was 4 plate appearances shy of a bonus that would have paid him $200K.
For a team that, if they were put onto the market today, would sell for multiple billions of dollars. Probably just 2, but you'd get to point being
several billions.
I think of the brand damage that has been done over that $200,000 to get Tellez out of the building. We're still talking about it. I know we're not the only ones who have tied the Heaney Tellez thing together, at least mentally. And like, those are the sorts of like decision-making things that are just so confounding to me, because it's like, of course teams are going to fuck over their players in arbitration because who cares about the personal relationships? Or of course we're going to release Rowdy Tellez over $200,000 because it's $200,000 and this is a business. And it's like, okay, well, X number of years later, like there's a percentage of Major League Baseball fans that immediately associate you with skinflint behavior because of one $200,000 transaction that nobody else would be bringing up in the present day if you didn't do that. Like, that's horrible business management.
But when you say, well, okay, horrible business management from a marketing perspective?
Yes.
Okay, but Jayhay, let's remember, man. And I don't like to defend this position, but I think it's one that contextualizes how this business operates. The Pirates are not interested. They're not interested in generating fanfare. They're not interested in those things. What they're interested in is capitalizing on their roster, right? On their employees and squeezing every bit of juice they can out of those individuals and then moving on. And so with Rowdy Tellez, the way they're doing things basically, and this is why, to your point about having to have an idea of what you're getting into when you agree to terms with a franchise that operates in this manner, is I have a escalator laden deal. When will I see that realized? If I live up to the deal, and unfortunately, if my teammates also kind of live up to their deals, because either way we slice this, if I perform, I could very well find myself out of the door sooner rather than later because I've performed and my team hasn't. And the team is probably thinking, Jayhay, if we get him to perform and we get him to perform and everybody else performs, we win. And we'd love to do that too, because we're not spending a ton of money trying to do that. And so we're going to capitalize in a big way here. But year in, year out, if we're not getting the return on the deals that we're making, we, and everybody knows this, have no problem making our business decisions and moving on from that.
And that's exactly the point, though. And maybe I didn't explain it correct, but like the idea that Bob Nutting cares mostly about the money and about his pockets and not about whether they are winning baseball games or how he's necessarily treating employees, to me, makes the Tellez thing X time later that much more confounding, because to save $200,000, he has, I can't put a specific number on it now, but he has done tangible brand damage to the most valuable asset that he has. And there are people who look at the Pirates now differently than they did before the Rowdy Tellez thing, because that was the thing that hooked into their brain about how cheap the Pirates are. And he saved $200,000. And I'm saying when the valuation of his team down the line is assessed, we won't know what the number is. I'm saying that he cost himself a lot more than $200,000 by making that $200,000 savings transaction. And to me, that's penny wise and pound foolish. And that's ridiculous from a guy who can't even be bothered to put the product on the field that matters and cares only about the money. That's what I was saying.
I just don't think that I don't think that there is shock and awe around the league or amongst the fan base that this happened, and that I don't think people were shocked, or people familiar with the Pirates were taken aback when it happened with Rowdy, and no more so happening with Andrew Heaney, even to the point where if there's any sort of statistical support to offer for the decision, as Jared found out, you're going to hear about it. They're going to tell you, no, you're right. We might operate in a way that not everybody is super excited about. That kind of tells you we're not really trying to win ball games. But damn it, don't tell us that this is why this happened. That's kind of where they're coming from. I just maybe I'm underestimating the sort of light that the Pirates are looked at or have been looked at. I thought everybody just kind of understood this is how they roll.
Like, am I out of line? Like, was I wrong? I mean, I know Jayhay said I wasn't, but like, that was a strong unified fuck you reaction.
I think it's just more reflective of how they feel and the level of frustration than it is about the specific tweet or the specific transaction or anything like that. Because you can say that Dallas is our Pirates guy and that we have obviously been we have promoted Skeens and love talking about him and had Kutch on and all that sort of stuff, and Jones and Keller, all that, visited camp. But to the general fan of the Pirates, the outside noise is almost always negative. And even when it touches Skeens, I think what they often take away from that is the when is he going to be gone from the Pirates part of the conversation, right?
Because they know that.
Right, because internally they know that that's also a reality that's coming for them, right? So
yes.
So but that's all the psychic damage that Jared started this off with. That's just being directed at Andrew. The Pirates don't do bonuses tweet over Andrew Heaney, which everybody knows that it is true, is part of why the response is so vitriolic or so intense I wouldn't take it personally though, Rocket. You're a good guy.
No, I don't. I muted the conversation almost immediately. Like once I saw how like nasty it was getting, I was like, this is coming from a place where like I get it. Like I was asking myself the question the other day, you know, being a Red Sox, because I was on the Michael K show, which we talked about, and we were talking about like he asked me, would you rather be like he was described, like he wasn't saying would you rather be a Red Sox fan or a Yankee fan, but he was saying like would you rather be a fan of a team that finishes in last place, wins a World Series, or you like you're in first place every year, but then like you don't win the big one. And I was like, so you're asking me if I would rather be a Yankee fan or a Red Sox fan. But then I was also thinking like, you know, a Pirate fan listening to this must be like, fuck both of you, you know, like, you know, you finish in last place all the time, but you pop up and win a World Series, or you like win the division all the time. So at least you have a fun summer. I have no fun ever. And I was thinking of that and how miserable I would be, or just like the idea of, you know, I know plenty of like fans that live in states where they're like, you know, they don't have a Major League Baseball team there, so they're a fan of like a random team, or they're from a state that has a Major League Baseball team, but they're a fan of a different team. I don't think anyone would blame you if you just decided not to be a Pirate. Like you don't have to be a Pirates fan. Like the people that are actual diehard Pirates fans, like you sit there and watch the games and you go to the games and you support the team and you wear the jerseys and you spend money on that team. Like that's a sickness. And I think what I saw in my replies on that tweet was just an outpouring of mental illness. That's all it was. I mean, these people are sick. I don't know how you can be a full-fledged diehard Pirates fan knowing how it's been going and where it's going to go. Like, you know, do you think that magically the Pirates are just going to be like, you know what? I know that this is not in our DNA, but we've decided to give a $800 million extension to Paul Skeens just from out of nowhere. Like that's not coming. That's never coming. So like these people, I get it. The frustration has mounted for decades, and it's not just about how it's gone. It's about the hopelessness of where it's going to go. And sure, like take your anger out on me. I don't give a fuck. I muted the conversation.
Starting a fire that you weren't ready for the heat from.
I guess. I mean, I just like I replied to one Pirates fan. I was like, this was such a throwaway tweet for me that I do not feel passionately enough about to have the back and forth. I just don't care. Andrew Heaney getting designated for assignment doesn't move me. And in my mind, I was trying to almost back Pirates fans and be like, hey, fuck this cheap ass ownership. We like, look at how cheap this ownership is, to try and like put them to the flames a little bit. And then Pirates fans were like, no, you can't trash our cheap ass ownership that's preventing us from putting a winning field on the team. You can't do that. Stop trying to save us. And I was like, okay, all right, fuck you then. You know, like imagine being in a lifeboat and circling back for survivors in the water, and then they're just freezing their ass off in the water, and they're like, get the fuck away from me, man. And you're like, all right, dude, you're just going to tip my boat over anyway. I'll go back over here and chill. I'll wait for the Carpathia to show up to save us.
I don't think that's that hard to imagine.
Yeah. Anyways, Pirates fans, I'm not mad at you. You can be mad at me all you want. I don't care. The only way I'd be mad at Pirates fans is if they just outright did not want a Ridge wallet. That's the only way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I would be furious. Yes.
Problematic.
That's where I draw the line. Yeah. Because I love my Ridge wallet. They're amazing. They make amazing wallets, luggage, and premium everyday gear. And they're doing a legendary sweepstakes for the 5th time. And this time it's insane. 2 lucky winners. Oh, it's two lucky winners. So Dallas and Jayhay could end up walking away with a $300,000 Lamborghini Huracan Storado, or a $150,000 Hennessy Velociraptor, or $100,000 in cash. There's only 1,500 Lamborghini Huracan Storados that exist in the world, and Ridge is giving you the chance to own one of them. This Lambo is the world's first off-road supercar. It's naturally aspirated V10 and has 610 horsepower. Can you imagine driving this thing around Stockton? I mean, they would steal that so fast.
Naturally aspirated, so that's good.
Yeah, it is. It is. The Hennessy Velociraptor also has an insane 558 horsepower with twin turbo. It's basically an American muscle car put into an all-terrain truck. There's no reason not to enter. You can enter completely free at Ridge.com, so why not take your shot? And if you want to boost your odds, every dollar you spend on Ridge's site gets you one additional entry. So grab a Ridge wallet, power bank, phone case, whatever you need, and rack up those entries. Get ready to upgrade your wallet and maybe your ride for a limited time. Head on down to Ridge.com and use the promo code BID at checkout for 10% off your order and the chance to win Ridge's biggest sweepstakes ever, a Lamborghini, a Huracan Storado, a Hennessy Velociraptor, or $100,000 in cash. No purchase necessary to enter, but every dollar you spend gets you more entries. That's Ridge.com. Use the promo code BID after your purchase. They will ask you where you heard about them. Please tell them that you heard about Ridge from Baseball is Dead. Tell them that we sent you. We very much appreciate that. And shout out to Ridge. Great wallets, great Lamborghinis. The Brew Crew. Another walk-off win for the Brewers, and their magical season continues, but it was a little ugly. They led this one 6-0 at one point, gave up the 3-run bomb. I think that was the only time that Misiorowski got touched in this game, was the 3-run home run. I believe it was it wasn't Perdomo. It was Gabby. Was it Gabby?
Gabby got him?
Yeah, I think so. Then it was kind of just like a death by 1,000 cuts comeback by the D-backs. It was like once Misiorowski was out of the game, I think he went 5. He looked pretty good. I mean, it was basically just that one swing that got him, was the 3-run home run. Outside of that, pretty damn good. Electric stuff. But then like the Brewers bullpen, it was death by 1,000 cuts, allowing the D-backs to get back into this one. Sal Frelick had an error out in right field, almost cost the Brewers the game. Love Sal, but that one could have been costly. It did not end up biting them in the ass. Brewers end up walking it off with the outfielders drawn in. Ball goes over the head, and Brewers win the game, walk off. But how have your impressions been of Jacob Misiorowski? How have you guys, based on the expectations, the hype surrounding him on his big league debut day, making the All-Star game after, what was it, like 6 starts, whatever the fuck it was, to where we are now, how have your, not expectation, how your feelings towards him evolved as he's made X amount of starts now?
Oh, this is a great piece that they have in a very important season for them as a franchise. To have a player that can impact the team the way that Misiorowski can, and to be playing the brand of baseball you're playing right now, and have him even being an incremental part of that, is huge. It's always important to have young players, if you have young players on your big league roster, to have them producing to an extent, and not just having to hide them. You're not just bringing these guys along. And I think the numbers will tell you that Misiorowski at times has probably had some bad luck. But in terms of what he represents, when you start to talk about postseason starts, postseason outings, and any sort of dominant factor that you're looking for, we always start with the swing and miss. And if this is a man who's going to be getting starts for them in the postseason, I think you can expect that. If not, I'm curious to see if they try to figure out sort of a hybrid role for him out of the bullpen. Is that something that they entertain? Or is this man taking the baseball for you to start ball games? I think that's got to be the case. But I think up until this point, what do you got, Jay?
No, keep going. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, up until this point, yeah, it's been, he hasn't lit the world on fire, but it's been good. He's had a couple double-digit strikeout outings. I
think it's an issue of context and comparison, because we were riffing beforehand about the Paul Skeens comparison, coming up, and, the idea that I don't think MLB, I know I was being kind of a dick about it, but I don't think MLB did him any favors with the All-Star game push either, because I think in a way it took expectations and hype to a place that weren't fair for him either. And I think if you remove the idea that this guy's the next in line from Paul Skeens and great pitching prospects to arrive, and you throw that in the trash and you say, this is a very good pitching prospect who is perhaps not generational, but who is a very, very good pitching prospect who can, and let's focus on his strengths and what he's doing really well so far. My main concerns about him, actually, they don't lessen in the playoffs because all concerns heighten in the playoffs, but that his lack of length in games, to what Dallas was alluding to, I look at Misiorowski and I see just an unbelievable postseason weapon. In however they want to deploy him, because what we know for sure is that the shit plays, right? And like the numbers are what they are. Batters are hitting 169 off of his fastball with a 32% whiff rate. Both of those are, if not top of class, then very, 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 very good. Batters are 1 for 14 off of his changeup, and they're 5 for 28 off of his curveball. So there's a repertoire here. This is not a guy who's relying on only a pitch or two, or only pure velocity. I just think, however they choose to deploy him, he's a guy, he's on the very short list of people that I'm still excited to see enter a ball game in a postseason spot with stuff on the line, because listen, the velocity is what it is. The stuff is what it is. And I just think there's an electricity here that's undeniable, even if he's not a finished product.
And the fact that, so like part of being a weapon is, can I deploy you essentially in any situation? In any situation, lefty, righty, guys on, need multiple innings from you. Can you be an Andrew Miller type, right? Can we rewind the clock and turn you into 16 Andrew Miller? Can you serve that purpose? Can you be that dude? And I think the answer is yes. I truly, truly believe that the answer is yes, because right-handers, he absolutely fucking dominates. They're hitting 155. Lefties hitting 193. So in terms of picking your spot for this guy to land, it's when you need outs. And it could very well be that second and third. It's the fucking third inning. We've already given up 4. We got to try to keep this thing right where it's at, right here, right now. Can you give us 2? Is it 3 because we've been able to push a couple across? And we look up and you've given us 4, 5 innings out of the bullpen in a huge spot. He could do that. And it could also maybe be an option to start the ball game for you as well, if you think the matchups bode well for you. I mean, because they have other options with the way their staff is thrown. No question about that. But I think this is a great opportunity for Miz to reintroduce himself on this stage as a certified weapon. And that can only help the stock or the brand moving forward, because I think we all have our thoughts on him being a part of the All-Star game and how that happened. We understand why and the marketing machine, but the postseason will offer him the stage to really show you what the fuck he's all about.
Yeah, I would say that fastball is going to play. And the 3.15, I mean, it's, you look at it and it's a 4.33 ERA, but it's a 3.15 FIP.
Yeah.
So you've got that going for you.
Part that I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he's walking guys. But yeah,
that'll be the.
I just feel
that'll
like
be the issue. That'll be the issue, Jay.
For sure.
You can't walk people.
No, but he's right there, and like he's not giving up hits. Like he's walking guys, but he's not giving up a ton of hits. So the whip is almost sub 1. You know, like if he has a couple decent outings here, like he can get to a sub 1 whip. And now you're talking about, okay, like if no one can touch me and it's really me that's the problem, then I think fixing walks would be easier than giving up a bunch of hits. It's probably easier said for some than others, but regardless, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Miz, and I'm sure you can pretty much guarantee, God willing, health allowed, he will be getting tons of spotlight for the Milwaukee Brewers in October. Dallas, this is a tough look for you.
Excuse me?
Babe Ruth has been charged in a fraud case.
Actually, Jared, you're wrong. George Herman Ruth has been charged.
Yes. George Herman Babe Ruth is charged with 91 counts in the indictment handed down in the U.S. District Court in Greenville, Tennessee. Yeah, this is a bad look, man. This is a bad look. I mean, you've had this guy's back through murder.
Alleged.
Yes. Through murder, arson.
Alleged. Again, alleged. So
murder.
This is the first time that we're getting anything to really stick.
Alcohol abuse.
Is that fair? Buddy,
illegal gambling.
Not even alleged. Encouraged again. Both of those things. Encouraged.
Obesity.
How about you fucking tap into the era? Again, encouraged in the era, Jared. Do you understand what being fat back then meant? It meant you were affluent. It meant you could afford to be fat.
Sure.
So yeah, encouraged.
Yeah, it's a bad look for you, brother. I'm sorry.
A fat booze-handing womanizer. All of those things encouraged in his day. That's
an adulterer.
That's the hurdle that That's the hurdle that we find ourselves in front of by
adulterer.
Trying to compare these players from era to era
who's now a proven fraud.
That might be frowned upon.
Proven fraud.
And that's fine. But I mean, as real as it got on the field, right?
Yeah. Well, just, asking if you had anything on that. There's some news and notes that we could talk about to round out here. Nathan Eovaldi likely done for the season. Rotator cuff. That sucks because he just qualified for the ERA title. Like I think his last outing maybe got him there.
Got him there.
So yeah, he's not going to be able to ultimately qualify, but that sucks.
Yeah, no, shit. No, Eovaldi didn't, didn't Simeon just go down too? Yeah,
I mean, the Rangers are cooked. I mean, even before this happened, they were cooked. Yeah, Dallas, they were cooked.
Well, look, they're 4 or 5 out of a wild card spot?
They're cooked.
Just saying, 4 games out of a wild card spot, you like to think you have a chance, but then you lose a guy who is qualifying for the ERA title and you lose your second baseman. Like that's a bit of a setback.
If you're a 500 team and it's about to be September, you're cooked.
See, plenty of time.
Like I'm sorry, Connor. I know. Connor's our resident Rangers guy. You got your fucking World Series. Like what?
Speaking of the World Series, like we're getting to a point where that has the potential to look like one of the great fluke World Series in recent baseball history.
Wow.
And I'm not saying fluke like
Connor's right here, dude.
I know. I'm not saying they didn't deserve it in the season, but you look at any season before that in the run-up, and so far pretty much any season after that, there have only been 2, and they've not really been relevant. Like the seasons before then were 5th, 3rd, 5th, 5th, 4th World Series, 78 and 84, 67 and 67. Like that's one genuinely relevant season in a decade, more or less. 8 years since the 16 team. And that to me doesn't diminish. I'm not trying to diminish 23 at all. In fact, in some ways, feels like it makes it more of a special moment in time. But
you just said it's as lucky as a World Series as you've ever seen in your life. You said
speaking of Babe Ruth, you want to talk fraudulent? How about the 2023 World Series?
Well, nobody talks about it like that. Like I feel like we spent all this time talking about how ridiculous it was that the Diamondbacks made the World Series and how it was like a fundamental flaw of the baseball postseason setup. And you had a 90-win Rangers team that didn't do shit before and hasn't done shit after, win the World Series. And everybody's Bruce Bochy was the manager, so we can't say anything about it. It's like,
well, are you calling it the flukiest World Series in history, Jay? Because the Diamondbacks they scored more runs than anybody in baseball that year, and the Rangers won the fucking thing. And you're just like, why did we even play this fucking series? Why?
Right. Yeah. Right. And so we spent time talking about how the D-backs were a fluky luck show to get into the World Series, but the Rangers winning the World Series is a 90-win team and being so far below 500 in the 7 seasons leading up and below 500 afterwards. Somehow that's just like nobody asked any questions about that one, I guess.
Yeah. That's
well,
tough.
Jay,
I mean,
I'm sorry you went to the county fair and there was a pig race there, and that's all that was offered. That it's if you want to watch the race, Jay, that's what we have. We got a pig race.
yeah, this
You'd be
bad,
happy.
man.
You'd be disappointed.
Nobody's pushing
and who
back on
wins
the
and
idea that
loses.
the Rangers have been mostly ass before and after this World Series. So I can only assume that you guys
It's a
ultimately
hangover.
agree with the idea that I've come up with here, and just don't want to be rude, which is fine. We all like Connor.
I just have respect for Connor, and it sounds like you have none.
No, I was just telling Connor it'd be great to see him if he came up this way for the postseason stream.
Yeah.
The same cockeyed Connor, isn't that the one you were talking about? You were like, oh,
Yeah.
fucking cockeyed Connor. That fucker shows
Yeah.
up.
I think you called him
Whatever
like
you said.
that dumb hick Connor is what you
Yeah.
said.
Wow, those are your own words. It's sad that those are on the record.
Simply,
Yeah.
you think I want to say that? That's you. That's you complaining about Connor and
I just
him
wanna make
thinking
sure
that the World Series was
me
legitimate.
lightly questioning the narrative surrounding the 23 World Series win is rude, but you calling him an actual hick is not.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't hear
I
it.
agree. I agree. That was bullshit that you said that, Connor. Connor, what do you think about all the slanderous statements made by Justin Havens here today? So let's go ahead and wrap this up.
It hurts. It hurts. He knows there's a lot of truth to what I'm saying. Connor knows.
I don't know.
Connor told me he was done watching the Rangers.
My only regret
For the
is that the Rangers World Series didn't happen after he won the Dinger Derby. Like he had to establish himself through the Dinger Derby. So if it was like, Dinger Derby happens, then the Rangers win. Like if he won the Dinger Derby and then the Rangers won the World Series, there's a good chance he's in the Rangers World Series parade.
Good chance.
Yeah.
Good chance. But there's not going to be a parade for either of them.
No, not this year at least.
Nope.
Dallas, was there anything else you want to hit on today?
Just wanted to talk about what a heartbreaker it was. Not a heartbreaker. It was a tough game for me to watch the other day. Tough game for me to watch. There was a fun and exciting moment. Skubal Langoliers squaring off early in the ball game. And fucking Langoliers hits a ball down the line. Lights may or may not have started a little early. Did it have home run distance? Well, it wasn't fair, so it didn't matter. And Skubal probably punched out Shea Langoliers, and walking off the mound, it was pretty funny because Skubal just kind of fucking looked around and was like, hey, those fucking lights going, huh? Turn the fucking lights on. Let's go. Turn the lights on. And I was just like, oh, dude, you did not have to do my guy like that because I love me some Langoliers. That's my fucking guy.
Yeah, that sucks.
And Skubal was absolutely dealing. Fucking dealing. And then old Langoliers would step up in a big spot, bases loaded. And oh, buddy, Langoliers got him. Fucking grand slam, a monster bomb. And, the lights hit again. And that time they were on time at the right time. But it was a tough one to watch. Not only watching JT Ginn, who threw the ball well, did a good job of matching Skubal, basically 0 for 0, K for K up to a certain point in time. So it was a great outing for me to watch. Fun. Would not like to see him get hammered like that, but would love to see Shea Langoliers put a great swing on a ball against the game's best the way he did. So all in all, a good game for the green and gold. Skubal got out of there with just one earned run attached to his name after a nightmare inning. So yeah, at the end of the day, still very much in line to lead the charge for that Cy Young award, and the green and gold still swinging it well after the All-Star break. So all's well that ends well.
Yeah, I don't think you mean that, but I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
But I do mean that.
I think it's bullshit that it was only one earned run for that outing.
What do you mean?
It gave up 6 runs. Only one of them was earned.
Well, I know, but that's how the rules of the
I
game
understand
go.
what the fucking rules are, Dallas. I'm trying to get Garrett Crochet a Cy Young over here.
Yeah. What? I mean, he look, it's going to be a heck of a lot closer now, right? I mean, he's the only problem
it's
for
one
Garrett
earned run.
Crochet.
He still punched out what, 12?
Yeah, 12. Punched
Yeah,
out
thanks
12.
a lot. Thanks a lot for fucking helping the cause, dickhead.
Well, as it sits right now, I think Crochet is trailing in all of the categories you'd want to be leading in, and I think he is leading in all the categories you would not want to lead in. And it's not like a
All right,
disastrous. It's
shut up.
kind of where it's at, like in the voting thing, like those categories that matter and shit. But
You've been looking fat lately.
no, this isn't projecting.
Just saying. Jayhay, were there any other topics? No. You've had your time. Would you like to? Is there any other topics you'd like to cover today, Justin Havens?
Yeah. Well, it kind of runs into Nuggs. So
Okay.
But the Mets called up Jonah Tong, who, if we're going to give some love to Bubba Chandler, I feel like Jonah Tong is a guy who at least deserves a mention, particularly because he's going to be presumably pitching in some pretty high stakes games moving forward. One of the better pitching prospects in baseball, I believe the Mets' top ranked pitching prospect per most sources, 1.43 ERA in 22 starts this season. That's 113 and 2/3 innings pitched with 179 strikeouts and only 2 home runs allowed. Over his last 19 outings, that's a 0.99 ERA with a 4.01 OPS allowed and 1 homer in his last 101/3 innings pitched. So I'm pretty excited to see that stat line play. But that was the only other transactional topic that I wanted to cover before Nuggs and final thoughts.
Well, yeah, let's get into those award-winning Nuggs then.
All right. Welcome back, Kyle Bradish, who third career start with 0 walks and 10 or more strikeouts last night, tied for the third most such starts in franchise history. And the only pitchers with more for Baltimore are Hall of Famer Mike Mussina and Eric Bedard. Ozzie Albies, first multi-homer game since July 4th, 2023, and his first ever game with multiple home runs and a double. Little Yankees, Red Sox to wrap things up. They didn't get started at the same time, so you might not have realized what was happening. But Judge and Stanton are doing their own version of Maris and Mantle this season. 2025 is the first season since 1961, obviously Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle, that multiple Yankees have had 17 or more homers through their first 51 games of a season. So Judge did it at the normal start of the season. Stanton, obviously with the injury, got a late start, but they are hitting as well as any pair of Yankees have in a single season, if not at the exact same time in a very long time. But of course, we're going to finish up with some Red Sox Nuggs because we were on fire last night. There was a lot of stuff going on there. Boston Red Sox, I don't know if you've heard about this, but they have the lowest starting rotation ERA in Major League Baseball since June 8th. That's at 3.23, ahead of the Phillies at 3.30 and the Brewers at 3.43. I can't credit to the Andrew Bailey pitching lab. Lucas Giolito, another successful one last night, 8 scoreless. Was it 8 scoreless or 8-1? I've now
8
forgotten.
scoreless.
8 scoreless.
Yeah, with 1 walk. That's what it was. 1 walk AK. Batters in their age 21 seasons. Get ready to follow this one along, folks. Batters in their age 21 season or younger to have 7 multi-hit games within a 10-game span from career game number 55 to career game number 64 in American League history. The only examples of that: Roman Anthony and the Gray Eagle himself, Tristram Edgar Speaker. Bet you didn't know you would be getting career game number 55 to career game number 64 Nuggets today.
It's big time.
Aaron Judge, before the injury, he was hitting 342 with a 1.160 OPS in 459 plate appearances. Since his return, he is at 200 with a 758 OPS in 83 plate appearances. And as it relates to the AL MVP race, that period of time, so since August 5th, has allowed Cal Raleigh to gain 0.6 F4 on Aaron Judge. He's accumulated 1.0. Judge is at 0.4 since that return, and they both sit at 7-3 entering play on Wednesday. So we'll see how that MVP race goes, but those are the Nugs for today.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Justin Haven. Dallas, final thoughts today?
Nope.
Okay. Justin Havens, you have final thought today?
Yep, I do. Mackenzie Gore is out on Slab Lab this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some clips.
Yep, started yesterday.
There you go. That's my final thought.
Yeah, I knew that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, just needed a little nudging.
Yeah, it's my prompting. My final thought now is Family Feud returns tomorrow.
Thank God.
And I know how you've kind of been sitting on that, both of you, but I know, Jared, you brought it up. I know you've been having trouble. You texted me last night, having trouble
Couldn't
sleeping
sleep.
because of the
Yep.
feud thing. Like, is there any way we could go on Wednesday? And I called Jake. We did a quick FaceTime and we said, no.
Yeah. Which was fucked up, but.
Yeah, no, you got to wait till Thursday. So hopefully you guys come prepared for tomorrow. You study up. Lots of potential feud questions. So hopefully you guys are studying as many as you possibly can. We get to that 200 mark.
Yeah, that'll be huge.
Done.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a dub for us. Very excited about that. Can't wait for it.
We'll see.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow with an interview.
That's right.
A big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in terms of young talent within the game, that theme continues to roll on with our interview tomorrow's guest. Very excited for that.
So tune in.
Yeah. Tell your friends. Jackson Holiday on the podcast on Monday. And another young stud on the podcast on Thursday with Family Feud. What a Thursday. What a way to round out the week. Very excited for that. So make sure you tune in. Subscribe on YouTube. We very much appreciate that as well. And tell your friends. Tell your friends about Baseball at Dead. So I'm sure at some point, we talked about your favorite team. We talked about your friend's favorite team. Maybe they find it interesting. Tell them about it. We appreciate you guys. All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Wow.